Welcome on into Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. I'm Nick Padone. He's Daniel Booby Gibson, Rafa Hernandez Brito. Hello, Tade with us as well. What's going on, guys?
Not much with me. I'm just enjoying the W's.
Snow and enjoying the W's, man. I'm just happy to be in the building with you guys, man. I feel like I've been on the run, on the go.
It was a weird couple of weeks with Booby's World. The one show we'll peek behind the curtain. We were over here. Our producer Ryan is like struggling trying to get Booby tied in because he's at Ohio State. He's at Ohio State, and all I hear is the music of the arena as he's on this scouting mission. Ryan's like, Booby, move into like a back room and get on the show. And then last week he was in LA.
To miss the show, man. I was gonna do whatever I had to do, man, just to get it. Even if I only got 5 minutes, I only need 5 or 10 minutes just to be with you guys, man. It was fun.
But now we're all back in here. Rafa, I know it was a fun week for you, sir. I'll let you have your moment here. The bet was won. We'll leave it there.
No. We can't leave it there. Come on. We'll leave it there when we pay the bet.
I think we should leave it there.
3 in a row deserves to be paid accordingly. And I sent you guys link to the store, to the Michigan Wolverines store. And by the way, I was talking with Caris LeVert, and he was surprised that you were actually betting on Ohio State. He's like, but wait a minute, Booby's not a Buckeye. He's like, he's from Houston.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Texas Longhorn guy. Mm-hmm. But I'm an adopted son, man. I've spent so much time here. I done just grown a love for it, and I wanted to see Ohio State win the game. So
I kind of said the same thing, but in different words. I say, Booby's a man of the people. So
yeah, exactly.
Nah, that's
fair.
Like, this is my second home, man.
But the Wolverine,
I love the Browns. I love all the Cleveland teams.
I love the Browns too. The Wolverine, like we call him in the Spanish broadcast, Caris LeVert, was a little surprised that you were actually putting the risk of having to wear the Mason blue overalls with no shirt underneath for a Booby's World show.
That was gonna be the best part for me. The swag.
You might even get your your prospects up.
That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that's what we need to do. I need to pull out the overalls.
Yeah.
We need to set up the date, man. Maybe that'll help me find love. Maybe. You know what I'm saying?
It's amazing blue overalls.
But yeah, it was a good weekend. It was actually. It ended with the Cavs winning on that Sunday. I forget. We played so many games. I forget who we beat on Sunday. But it was good because it was going to be an all for Ohio weekend because everybody went down. The Buckeyes, the Bengals, the Browns. We lost that game when we came back from the back-to-back. So, hey, I'm happy the Cavs took that O away, but I'm also happy that 3 in a row.
And shout out to the Charge, baby. Don't forget.
Charge,
yeah.
Charge.
Cleveland basketball just saving the weekend.
There's 2 things I have to take advantage of the millions of viewers that we have and listeners. The Charge have 2 really cool things going on. Mm-hmm. The beach courtside section.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I think that's
all right. All right. Hey, I gotta stop right here. We gotta indulge in this further. What is that?
Hey, listen, man.
At Wilson Center.
They got a beach?
Yeah, it's kind of like it's like a section courtside. First 2 drinks are on you.
There you go.
How do we get a Booby's World takeover at the beach?
Listen, man, I've been waiting on y'all to come to a game, man. The setup is nice. We got the big screen now behind the.
It's a really good setup at Wilson Center.
Crazy, like, man, and we balling right now. We
maybe
won our last 2 games.
Maybe we should do Rafa seats for the Charge as well.
I think we should.
I think we should.
I'll talk to Sean Wyatt. Hey, Sean Wyatt, can we get a couple of like beach setups here for the guys?
Man, Sean's the man. We're gonna have some tickets available, 5 to 10 tickets a game. We're gonna have people come out and go to the beach, get you some sand with snow outside.
And they got the Elf Night coming too. So hey,
let's do it.
Come on down to the Wilson Center.
We've got it planned. You might just see the Booby's World crew there. All right, guys. Today on the show, we are going to take a look at some of the biggest headlines as it pertains to our Cleveland Cavaliers. We're then going to go around the NBA, look at some of the top stories from around the league elsewhere. Booby and Rafa are going to do Booby for 3, and the guys have been doing a good job keeping it to just 3.
I'm good for 3, but
both in studio, I feel like we might have to hold Rafa down, especially on this one.
I always have to do the honorable mentions, man. Come on, you can't just cut it down to 3.
And then we're gonna take a trip down memory lane with Booby and Raf. We are going to have more of Booby's World straight ahead, so don't go anywhere. Welcome on into Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. I'm Nick Padone. He is Daniel Booby Gibson. Rafa Hernandez Brito. LL Calde in the building with us as well. Guys, the Cavs are going on a little bit of a venture, back-to-back games at Boston on December 12th and December 14th. This is something that the league tried to do a little bit more of last year. They introduced it, where you go on the road, then you play the same team twice, cut down on some of the travel, try to cut down on some of that load management. What are the benefits of doing that, playing the game, then having a day off in that city, and then playing another game? Booby, what's that like?
I mean, it gives you that playoff feel. You get to kind of learn a team. You get to kind of prepare for a team as if you would in the playoffs, where you don't, like you said, it's that home and home. But I think it just gives guys an opportunity to get comfortable. You know what I mean? To learn, to get on the road, take on a team on the road, but then also understand how to prepare for a team in the playoffs. I think that's the most important thing you get out of it.
And I think what just made it a little more interesting is the added game because of not making it to the knockout round in the in-season tournament. We're playing away on the 8th. We're gonna be we play Miami and then we go to Orlando and then those 2 days in Boston. But to your question, it is really beautiful when last year we played 2 games in Miami and we had a day off. It's gonna be really hard, no offense, when we play 2 games in Milwaukee later down there. I'm sorry, Milwaukee, but if you give me an option in November, December,
Miami,
June,
Milwaukee.
whenever it is, Miami or Milwaukee, hey, Boston is my college town, so I think I'll be able to find trouble there. But it's I don't know. I'll take the day in Miami.
That kind of takes me to that point differential thing. So was that why we were going after the point so that we wouldn't have to have that extra game? Is that
we have 2 extra games?
How do you feel about seeing teams go after that point differential? Like, it kind of played against like the old unwritten rule in the NBA of like once you up by a certain number, take your guys out. I seen coaches getting upset, players getting upset, and now I'm seeing there's more games being added. Yeah. How we feeling about that whole? Like,
just so everybody knows, there's 2 games for everybody that didn't make it to Vegas. So we play at home against Orlando on the 6th, in Miami against the Heat on the 8th. And then it kind of works out for the Cavs, not in a way that we get the 2 toughest teams out of everybody else left, but we also, the road trip becomes a week-long road trip, and then it starts Miami, Orlando, Boston. But I think going back to what the in-season tournament has been, I like it. I
love it.
Other than some of the courts that kind of like gave me shit.
Here we go. Here we go.
The swag you gotta have. I think that's when the fans.
Don't get me wrong.
I like in-season game.
I like the idea.
The courts.
I like the idea of having different courts. That when you look at the replay or the highlights anywhere, in-season tournament. I agree with that. But old red court.
I love it.
Not on TV.
I love it.
Okay, fine. But what I like it so much. Now I'm kind of thinking, like, how could we make this better?
Right.
Because how cool is it that in November, Cavs fans were not only really into the game against the Hawks, but also were concerned and I guess interested in what was going on in New York with the Knicks and Hornets, or in Miami with the Heat and the Bucks, or in Brooklyn with the Nets and whoever the hell they were playing, and Orlando. You know what I mean? So I think maybe make it a real round robin, home and away stands, because on a 4-game series, if the team that lost the first 2 games kind of got nothing to play.
Yeah.
For the rest, you ain't making the wild card at 2-2. Right. So I think maybe if you make it an 8 game and maybe run it all the way to the end of the year, I don't know. I'm not here to say I love the whole concept of it. The fact that you're a player. Yeah. When there's something on the line, you want to win it,
and that was
you want to take it with you, right?
Seeing there be meaningful games in November and December is a beautiful thing to watch, and then it'll take us right into the Christmas games. You know what I mean? Where guys tend to get up more for those games as well. So I love the competitive nature. I just think, like you said, with it being the first year, I think they'll go back to the drawing board and figure out ways to make it better.
Back to your point,
I love the idea.
Back to your point about the unwritten rules.
Yeah.
I think that's something that will get written. Meaning unwritten, because when points are a matter of fact, It's okay. JB, yes, last night,
saying,
JB, when we were up 20 and Quinn Snyder
It
pulled
was
out the
weird.
bench.
Listen,
It was weird.
He looked at the bench and he was told it was still in play.
Yeah,
So we're playing
exactly,
for
'cause if
something.
you gonna get
So you know what? If
mad,
you don't like it, don't lose by freaking
Yeah.
20 points.
Yeah,
That's
it
exactly
was
what I said.
it was cool to watch though because like Mobley had 3 blocks within the matter of probably
when Bruno
10
Fernando
seconds.
kept putting it up in the trade for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, because like our starters, you know, the Cavs stars are going against the reserves for Atlanta, and that benefited the Cavs because then they were able to win.
Not
that
in the
game
point differential,
by
though.
20.
We were up
and
by
it
20
was-
already when he pulled out the thing.
Yeah.
It was
We
just a
couldn't-
matter
we
of.
just- he got the blocks, but we didn't go to the other end and get buckets. That was
Yeah. Well, we went a whole stretch with no buckets, but I think
at the end of the year.
everybody has to buy into it.
Right.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you avoid being insulted by somebody scoring on you when you pull out the bench. Because
that's
usually,
exactly what happened. I
usually the team losing is the one that has to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And then the other coach reacts.
Exactly.
But in this case, the Cavs did a point. And hey, we're playing for something. You're not. Sorry.
Right.
Take
That's
the
the
rule.
And if the L is about 50,
But I do love I do love the in-season tournament, and I know everybody wants to make changes to it.
Right.
I like it so much. I wish it was longer.
Yeah, same here, same here. And I think, guys, that what we're going to see is now that we got our feet wet on this first year, I think we'll see teams take it more seriously throughout the whole thing because on Tuesday night in the NBA, it was crazy. You had all these teams going at once, and it was like they finally realized that the point differential was a thing. And a team like the Cavs, like, okay, now we're playing catch up, trying to win this game by 30, 40 points. Whereas now you know that first Tuesday in November next year, you got to score 130 points in this game because the points count.
Or
And I
don't
think-
lose by 20.
Exactly, exactly. And the league is going to kind of adapt to that. And these Tuesday and Fridays, as we move forward, I think are going to be really fun.
How awesome is the first matchup in the West?
awesome.
Awesome.
Lakers, Phoenix. That's like a preview. It could be. Everybody was thinking it could be the finals of the conference
Right,
this
but
year.
you
Okay.
get-
No disrespect to Denver and everybody else, but hey, they're playing for something.
And then teams that start off hot get rewarded too. When you
Yep.
think about the Pacers, like they start off hot. You know, some teams, some people think they might fizzle out at the end, but now the fact they've come out hot, they give themselves a chance to win a NCAA tournament.
I haven't really
It's all
had
for
a
the first.
I haven't had a chance to look at all the games that were added in terms of who got screwed in terms of traveling. Like Miami has to plays home, then on the 6th goes to Toronto, and then comes back to play us on the 8th, and then goes out again. So that kind of thing. But how about the Warriors that have to play an extra game now against Oklahoma City?
And they did
Yeah.
not
The
want
Shea
that.
They
area.
didn't want
They
that.
did not want that. I watched the way they ended that game.
Or whoever
I
has
heard
Minnesota
Steph
again.
was mic'd up saying, "Okay, we got to take care of possessions." They really were into it.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
win that game. So
I
it's
love it, man.
tough when you got to go to OKC after L.
All right, guys. So
learn.
if we could all give one suggestion, just one suggestion of how to improve the NBA in-season tournament, JB Bickerstaff casted his vote after the Cavs were formally eliminated on Tuesday, saying that he advocated for an 8-game home-and-home round robin to kind of make it more fair for everybody. I really like that idea. I think my one change, I'm going to say it before Ralph can, scrap the court. I think the Cavs one. The
No, but let me
Cavs
tell you
one
a
was so
backstory.
classy. The Cavs one was really well done. But around the league,
in the words of our chief marketing officer, we were lucky because it was such a late minute addition to the idea of the in-season tournament that the NBA decided that the court should be the colors of the city edition jerseys. And that's why you have this black on silver, and we
Yeah.
were lucky that our city edition is so cool, by the way.
I love
in
them. I
Playhouse
love
Square,
So
and it's all like our colors, right? Wine and gold. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I understand the whole concept of having a different. But I think that the trophy in the middle or in the paint will do it.
yes, that
You
will
know?
suffice.
Funky colors, fine. I almost got a seizure watching some of those games. So I'm not used to it. I felt like I was
More-
watching the Serbian
more
finals.
courts.
Like a NASCAR,
More
NASCAR
graphics.
version of the NBA course.
More swag.
But I like the 8-game,
Okay.
but that would kind of cover what I want, which is make it a little longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Why not play the finals on Christmas Day?
Oh.
Yeah. No, that's
I
right.
feel like we were just getting into it too, and now
make
it's
it
over.
even like all the way to January, so that way you have like a 2-season thing, and then after that,
That Christmas Day card would be awesome because I mean,
Yeah.
we already tune into those.
and
games.
everybody gets a chance to play for
Anyway,
Christmas.
so
How
now
many
you-
players actually want to play on
And
Christmas
now your
Day?
Christmas Day
Right?
games will be
I-
games that are like.
I know guys that
meaningful.
have been upset to the point of almost crying mad because they weren't put in a game on Christmas Day.
Right.
So imagine that. And that the NBA already owns that day.
Yeah.
So if you play that, but then and again, there's not that many games to play. I don't know what they're going to, but I think longer is better.
Yeah. Agreed.
Alrighty, guys, we are going to step aside. That was a great conversation about where the Cavs are at, the in-season tournament as a whole. Straight ahead, we are going to whip around some of the biggest headlines around the NBA. You don't want to miss it. More Booby's World right after this. Welcome on back into Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. He is Daniel Booby Gibson, Rafa Hernandez Brito. I'm Nick Padone with you guys. All right, guys, we are about a quarter of the way through this NBA season. I'm going to name some of the teams, and you guys tell me if they are contenders or pretenders in the NBA.
Or no tenders.
Or no tenders. All right, and I'll preface it with this: the Cavs aren't going to be a team named in here, so no sweat. Contenders,
Yeah.
No doubt about
contenders.
No
it. I mean, come on, we were fourth in the East last year.
Yeah,
Easy call.
and I feel like too now. Before we get into this, now that we're starting to get a look at this team healthy at full strength. We're starting to see what the potential looks like with the new additions of Strus, with the new additions of Niang. Your guy Craig Porter still playing very
I'm
well.
just
It's been a
glad
lot of fun.
Everybody else can see it now, so they can take their finger off the panic.
Which is like this big.
You know what I'm saying? And let the NBA
Cleveland,
season
it's this
play
big.
out. And I think now they're starting to see as the guys learn their roles, learn how to play with each other, just how great this team could possibly be.
And remember, this team is built around defense, right? We have scorers. We have guys that we are a defensive team. We were the number one defense in the league last year, and we're finally coming along. First of all, health is coming along the way, right? Even though we're still going up and down with some of the guys, but Atlanta was just in town, and they came in as the number 2 offense in the league, and we held them to a little bit over 100 points. So hey, give us time, contenders all the way.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right, guys, let's get into our list. The first team that I will name for you in contenders or pretenders, the Orlando Magic. Very hot start to the season. Booby, Orlando Magic, contenders or pretenders in the NBA this year?
Wow. When we say contenders,
Contending this year
Contending
or
for the
pretending
playoffs?
for what?
Contending-
Yeah, exactly.
Could-
What are we
could-
contending
How
for?
about we'll
Okay.
give this for the Magic, contending to be better than what they once were. So I'll give you
no,
playoffs.
contenders.
Playoffs, yeah.
Contenders. I will give them credit because my guy Moses is over there running that ship. He was coaching here, and he's awesome in terms of player development and people development. And so to see all those guys start to develop, I think the Magic are going to be a problem for a very, very long time. I don't know if this year is the year where they get out of the first round or even the play-in, but I do know that teams don't want to see the Magic on their schedule because every single night they're playing hard, they're long, and they're playing fast.
Yeah.
The days of seeing the Magic added to your calendar saying we're going to have an extra game at home,
Yeah.
of thinking, oh, yeah, the Magic are coming down at DCW, those days are gone.
Yeah.
And I think the Magic is another team a little behind us in terms of the program development, in terms of what we're trying to do. But I think it's a team that is also along the sides of being built through the draft.
Yes.
And then now they're just going to get to a point where, like we were, to add pieces that you can actually take it up another level. But I think they're contending to be better for sure. They already are than last season.
Yeah, absolutely.
The title, I think even on the East, not yet.
Yeah. Just
And for them, and to their defense, I mean, not defense, but the East, I feel like it's wide open. I feel like a lot of these teams are very evenly matched. And
It's wide open, but it's also dangerous because once there are some teams that if they finally get in some kind of
it's heavy at the
funk,
top.
it's
Yeah.
heavy.
I think if you get right past, I want to say us after that.
Yeah.
It's anybody's 5 through 14.
It's getting a roll, get on a roll. Like look at Milwaukee last year; they won 15 or something in a row, and then all of a sudden they're like the serious contenders of it.
All right, guys. Next one: contenders or pretenders. We go out to the Western Conference. The Minnesota Timberwolves.
Ooh. Contender without a doubt, man. They are one team that you actually enjoy watching. Yeah. You know, Ant is a man. I mean, he not only is looking to be a starter in the All-Star game, but I think he's actually playing like an All NBA guy. And I think he has the type of personality that can get Gobert kind of to get with the program and kind of join the crowd. Right. And you know, and Karl Anthony Towns, even though I don't like the fact he falls in love with the three and kind of like gets allergic to the paint most of the time. But I think they play defense.
They do.
They do.
And I think they play hard. So that's always a team that is going to contend. I don't care what side of the map they're on. In the West, they are going to contend because they have size, they have athleticism, they can score, and they play defense.
I want to give them. I'm giving them the contender piece initially, but my fear for them is depth. I feel like if any of those guys go down,
especially the first three guys,
they become a completely different team. So, and I know a long NBA season that's bound to happen at some point. So, I give them the contender not only because I feel like, to your point, Ant-Man is on his way to superstar.
He is fun.
He's about all of the right things. I think him playing for USA this summer was the best thing.
He's mature a lot, too. You know, he's no longer that kid.
I think that was it. I think I heard him talk about how Steve Kerr, at his workout, when he came into the draft, Steve Kerr was like, you don't work hard enough. You got to go watch Steph. You got to watch KD because there's a different level to working if you want to be a star. So that meant Kerr saw it in him from the beginning, you know, and pressed his buttons and he accepted that challenge, and now that's become a part of his regimen and working. So when you hear things like that from a guy, like you said, I know he's going to bring the rest of those guys with him, but that depth bothers me a little bit when I think about a long NBA season.
I take that.
All right.
And where they'll end up in the playoffs.
I take that,
All right, that's fair. Let's move on. We'll stay out in the Western Conference. The Oklahoma City Thunder, contenders or pretenders. SGA playing some great ball out there.
I ain't even want to let you finish that one. The contender.
I
felt like they were contenders last year when they got into that play-in game and played the way that they played. And then you bring back Chet, you bring back all those guys, all those young talented guys with more experience. And then you put Shea with the icing on the top of that thing. That's another team, another young team that you don't want to see on your schedule this year because they're out for blood right now. I think you can see that they feel like they're ready to put the league on notice every time they step out on the court.
And we've known for years, guys, that this is coming from Oklahoma City Thunder. They were stockpiling.
And by the way, they still have all those.
And they still have a ton more, Raf.
But I think going back to your point that you were making with Minnesota, these guys maybe have the depth that Minnesota doesn't have. What they don't have is the star power aside from Shea. I know Chet is Chet, but he's a rookie, right? We all know what happens when you get to the playoffs the first time.
They asked Chet who was going to be the best player in the league. He said him in 3 months.
For everybody that was thinking that Wemby was going to be the rookie of the year, running along like take it to the back, right? But I think it's the same thing. Oklahoma City has so many guys that play so hard.
Yes.
And it's just that is the dangerous point about them. Yeah. That Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing like annoyingly good. I mean, he's a 40-piece machine. MVP, right? Yeah, everybody was kind of, and I raised my hand, a little surprised and not complaining, but maybe I had another option for the All NBA team last year.
Yeah.
You know what, man? He's telling everybody, shut up and watch. Even the people in the Shea area, he still left them a little angry there when they've been cooking the Warriors big time.
And I checked his Instagram. You know, I stay in tune with the socials, and he posted it. He posted the block on Steph. He posted the layup right after. He posted
and he put Shea area, and he was quoting the rapper. What's his name? Like, and you know, in the Bay Area, when you start quoting rappers and stuff, then you get it serious. Contenders all along, big time.
A lot of fun, young team guys, and we will wrap up with this one. The Dallas Mavericks, contenders or pretenders?
Oh, look,
I heard a groan down from this end over here. Booby.
I don't think they contend for the title.
Contenders, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they can contend for the title.
I don't think that.
Obviously, Luka and Kyrie will always entertain you watching them. But again, I think that's a team that is built right now to contend in the regular season.
Yeah.
Once you get to the playoff, it's been proven, it's been seen that I don't care how many points Luka scored. He by himself is not going to do it.
The one thing I do like that happened this summer was they did make some acquisitions that that fit the roster. You know, like the Derrick Jones pickup, he's been good for them.
Yep.
And then the rookie that they just brought in from Duke, Lively, he's been a big that at times they could depend on. He'll continue to have to grow, but I think those are like pieces that around Luka and Kyrie that actually like are able to play without the ball, can make shots in big moments, and kind of help them sustain a little bit. But kind of like you, I still think, I don't know what's missing, but I don't see them as title contenders. But that's another team that you don't want to play against when you got that.
You want to watch for sure,
duo,
Kyrie Irving at the end. I mean, think about it. Down the stretch, is either Luka going one-on-one or Kyrie going one-on-one the other way, just taking turns.
Pick your poison.
Taking you to
the Good luck.
The thing is that on a 7-game series, I always believe that's when coaching staff has a lot to do. Sure. And when you start shutting down those things, I don't know how many weapons they have after
exactly. That's it. Those, to me, are the only two dynamic ball handlers that can really make things happen. It's just those two guys.
All right, guys. That was fun. I think we'll have to pull this segment back in. That was all the teams that we have for now, but we'll have to revisit this in a couple weeks for another
Maybe
edition.
you should put some pretenders so we can actually
contenders and pretenders. A lot of lovable teams.
Indiana, I don't want to throw it up there.
Oh, all right.
I feel like it's a little
Are they making or missing their threes?
They're in the in-season play tournament right now. They hot.
We'll see how that shakes out. We are going to step aside. More Booby's World right after this. Welcome on in back to Booby's World, one of our favorite segments, guys. It is time for Booby 4-3. Ish.
Oh,
I feel like this, like
where if you're new to the show, every week the guys rank their top 3 of whatever, you name it. We've ranked cities, we've ranked stadiums, we've ranked food. We keep shooting on this show. Today we are going to rank the top 3 biggest rivalries in the NBA, and I think you could probably guess where this idea stemmed from. The game Ohio State versus that team up north, where Raf was victorious against Booby and I, but that's okay. Today we're keeping it all basketball. The top 3 biggest rivalries in the NBA.
I mean, I'm gonna jump in. I think I like the scrappy, we might fight outside rivalry. So I'm gonna go all the way back to Knicks Heat. I remember watching those games when I felt like, I think back to that where was it Van Gundy holding on to Marcus Camby's ankles or something like that?
No, to Lonzo.
Was it Lonzo?
Yeah,
Lonzo. Like those, I felt like you might win the game, but you're not gonna win.
Remember when Charlie Ward was it Charlie Ward or Alec Houston that got basically lifted and did a helicopter?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and Charles Oakley.
The way they protect the guys now, that probably could never happen in this game. So just thinking about those rivalries, man, where you didn't know if it was gonna turn into a brawl, were probably the most fun for me.
When you think of those rivalries, you think of why they changed the rules in the NBA. Because you could name Knicks against Heat, Knicks against Pacers, Bulls against anybody. You know, the Bulls and the Pistons, when they couldn't get over the hump, and you finally. But those are the days that you have to get over the hump. Like Michael had to get over the Pistons and the bad boys. But you know, everybody talks. You know, Lakers and Celtics. I grew up a Celtics fan, and I know it's not a rivalry really because the Celtics won all the time, and it's just like what 9-3, 9-3 is the difference. So maybe Magic and Larry,
so much
Magic
closer.
And Bird is a rivalry that actually lasted.
It's when Magic was there and Bird was there.
No, but before that, Bill Russell used to win them all the time.
So Wilton and Wilton, Jabbar and them wasn't getting no chips.
One each.
Okay.
Kobe won one, Magic and Jabbar won one, and Jerry West and the rest of won one. And then Boston just ran the house. So it's not really a rivalry. But I think Magic and Bird, since he started in college, and he went into the NBA, and we all know how that developed. I think that's one of the rivalries that I think I will bring up. if you're gonna bring Heat Knicks, even though it was kind of like a generational or temporary rivalry, you gotta put in Cavs and Warriors because 4 straight finals and LeBron, doing his thing and 73 without a ring don't mean a thing.
And not just that, Raf, but the fact that rivalry was so contentious 2 years in. Think about it like this: Warriors took the first one, 2015. Cavs take the second one, 2016. And then we got Durant. Warriors went 73-9 with a first ever unanimous MVP, and then went and got KD on top of that. Like, that's how contentious that rivalry was, and how uncertain Golden State was just in their own skin that they had to go out and get another superstar because they simply couldn't hang with Bron, Kyrie, K-Love, JR, the squad that we had here. So I think that definitely has to be on the list, even though it is more recent. I think you got to put that on like an all-time NBA rivalry, even though, like you said, the Warriors did dominate it in the fact that they won most of them, but it's how they had to win most of them, where they had to do kind of convince KD to do a soft thing and leave the team that beat him and go to Golden State.
That's my boy.
And no excuses here, but the first year LeBron was up 2-1 with a game in hand at home with Kyrie and Kevin injured.
I was going to say, if Kyrie don't...
And our plane looking like a MASH plane going up to the 5th game, with Delhi getting IV and going to the hospital dehydrated and everything you want. But I think that has to be a rivalry because, hey, it's 4 straight years.
Yeah,
fighting for the title. I don't care what happens. I don't care how many times Steph throws his mouthpiece or Draymond tries to kick LeBron and with the sun don't shine. But it's like it's a rivalry.
I miss those days.
Nah, it was a beautiful
time. Those were fun.
I guess now, you kind of took a little sauce out of mine because I still stayed in that same vein. I was sticking with the beat 'em up decade of basketball. And you go back to the Bad Boys. You said the Bad Boys and Bulls.
Yeah.
Me, when I was coming into my loving the game of basketball, that's kind of what I was watching. Just Mike.
That's when Mike took it personally.
Yeah.
And I wasn't invited to play in the Dream Team.
Oh man, Isaiah and Mike, I need to see.
That's a good rivalry right there. It's still not over.
It's still going. That's the one that's going on today.
I think Mike has just a lot of rivalries that are all up here. Like, I think him and Scotty might have a rivalry going on.
Mike,
right now.
MJ has a rivalry with all these people that couldn't win a title until he went to play baseball, and Hakeem took both.
Whoa! Oh, I thought that was gonna be a shot at the Rockets.
No. I'm saying, but again, they won it because Michael was playing baseball.
I saw Booby getting ready to stand his ground.
But think about it: Malone and Stockton, Patrick Ewing,
absolutely,
Charles Barkley, and you can throw names on that. What's his name from Indiana?
Reggie.
Cheryl's brother, Reggie
Miller.
Cheryl. I remember those days at the Garden, and every time the Pacers came, be Cheryl. Oh, how about Reggie and Spike Lee?
Ooh, I was finna say, but even Pacers Knicks was one.
Yeah,
the 8 second.
Yeah.
Ooh. My brother used to have this thing with
the choke time.
Every time Reggie would hit a 3, my brother would go Miller for 3. And I would go in the backyard and try to shoot like him because Reggie had this little thing when he was shooting. Yeah,
I remember what was his name? What was it? Larry Johnson, Grandmama. What did they call him? Grandmama. Yeah, when he had that 4-point play to beat them too in the playoffs.
Yeah, nah, that was too
young, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
Dick don't know what we're talking about.
A lot of fun basketball history being shared, guys. That was it. We held it to 3. We did a good job. It was a good collective 3.
I was going to say Joaquin Noah against Cleveland. That's a rivalry.
That is a rivalry.
Would have been that Chris Paul, Scott Foster one. Yeah. Like, come on now. He got to stop calling his games. Like, they have to.
He threw him out a couple of days ago.
He did. And at first, Chris Paul walked up to him calm, but then it's just something there.
Yeah.
He said something back to him, and Chris felt the way, and he was
oil and vinegar, baby.
Man, they got it. They cannot let him do any Chris Paul game.
He was talking about Chris Paul was actually talking about it a little bit this offseason on your guy Gilbert Arenas podcast. He was like, it is it's to the point where it's personal with me and this guy, and I'm with you, Booby. They got to just stop letting him ref the games because
they don't understand just how much power these referees have in that game. Like, he can give Chris Paul 2 early fouls and have him sitting just so he don't have to deal with him because Chris is going to question everything when he's out there on the floor. I played with him.
Which is a problem right now in the NBA.
Oh, man, I played with Chris in the 8th, ninth grade, Nike All-American camp, and he was the same way. He was telling me what I should do on the floor. And he's like 9th, 10th grade. I'm like, hey, bro, we're not that far apart. I let one of the coaches tell me what I need to be doing. But that's just CP. He's gonna question, he's gonna coach, and he's been like that since forever.
That's really fun. All right, guys, we are going to go down memory lane. We're going to keep this little rivalry conversation alive. And Booby, I think you're going to like it. We have more Booby's World straight ahead. Don't go anywhere. Welcome on in to Booby's World. I'm Nick Padone. He's Daniel Booby Gibson. Rafa Hernandez Brito. Hello, Calde joins us as always as well, guys. We just ranked the top NBA rivalries. We got into some current ones. We got into some all-time ones. That was a lot of fun. Booby, what team or teams did you kind of have the biggest rivalry with when you played here in Cleveland?
Well, I mean, I could say Boston, but for me, it was those Detroit Pistons, man.
Okay.
It was those Detroit Pistons. Oh, wait. There was another one, though. I always use Detroit, so I want to tap in a little deeper. The Washington Wizards. That first, it seemed like we played them in the first round of the playoffs every year. And it got so deep to where I remember Jay-Z made a diss song. No, Soulja Boy made a diss song. Random diss song, and then Jay-Z came back with a ask my LeBron, but this is all in the first round of the playoffs. It was crazy. I remember going out one night, and we go out, we hanging out, and then the DJ in DC plays it on repeat. And the beginning of it is at my LeBron. That's how it comes on, and he puts it on repeat, and some of the Wizards are in the building. Ooh. D. Jones tried to go to the bathroom and almost got hit up, but that's another story for another time. But getting on the floor against those guys, they had Antoine Jameson, Caron Butler, Gilbert Arenas, killer squad. But I would say for me, that was probably one of the biggest playoff rivalries outside of what everybody knows, those Detroit Piston games that was kind of stopping us from getting to or that we broke through to get to the finals. But to get there, I would say the Wizards were pretty tough.
And I think that's how rivalries are grown or are born.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we were to play with the Knicks again, another playoff series, then there's no way you can get away from it.
Yeah.
And the Heat and the Knicks kind of like stepped away, and both teams haven't been really making. Yeah. I guess not Miami has, but not the Knicks. But I think that's how the rivalries are born. I remember when I was in school in Boston, don't tell my dad, but I took a parent loan to pay for my season tickets at the old Boston Garden, and I had a job that could pay for them, but not all up front. So, and I remember watching those games, against the Pistons with Rodman and Isaiah, and then the Lakers, and even with the Twin Towers in Houston,
yes,
was a big rivalry for the Celtics.
You guys mentioned, the Cavs, in their current, if you get another playoff series this year against the Knicks, for sure, that's going to start feeling like a rivalry. Who would you guys consider the Cavs' biggest rival right now? Because it feels like, the Warriors thing is so far removed. I think Double T is really the only Cavalier left that was a part of those days.
I heard him talking about it. They asked Vert that night, how did he feel about it? And he was like, it's just a different time. You feel the energy, but he was like, it's just a different
But that's what I mean. It's such a generational thing. It's
right.
not a constant thing like Ohio State, Michigan. It doesn't matter what year, or Yankees, Red Sox. It doesn't matter what year. It's still a town thing. And I don't think in the NBA, other than the Celtics and the Lakers, there's many that you can actually say those are rivalries. And right now for the Cavs, I gotta tell you, Indiana Pacers, that series is always hard for the Cavs. I mean,
it is.
Even when we were going to the finals for 4 straight years, playing the Pacers in the playoff was always just like, oh my God.
They play us tough.
Such a grueling series.
They had Paul George
and
too.
You never think of like losing there like the way we used to lose in Miami before we won a couple of years ago. And kind of Miami has a reason why, maybe.
A couple guys over there make it tough.
Like, but you always want to make it like a back-to-back night in Miami, so you have to. But I don't know. I don't think there's many rivalries that I would tell you. Right now the Cavs, other than like I said, if we got to play the Knicks, hopefully like in a second round,
that'd be fun.
Just to make it a lot more fun, more on the line.
like you said, we just got to. It's still this era of Cavs basketball. They'll create those rivalries.
Yeah, you don't make rivals in the regular season.
It's hard to make them. You know what I mean? Because like we said, the games aren't as meaningful or impactful. They don't mean as much, so the fans aren't as into
but
it.
7-game series. Now you're talking about dislike
so
coming.
You got a little bit. There's a little bit of there from Atlanta when they had that playing game, and then there's the Nick thing there. So it's like you said, like. This year, when we get back to the playoffs, if we run into one of those guys,
You want to run into those guys,
we
man.
would love it.
Booby, what's it like when you actually get on the floor and you play in one of these rivalry games? Because you're talking about, the Wizards. We'll use that example where you went through all that, and in the club with the Soulja Boy diss track going on, and some of those guys were in there, and then you see them on the hardwood when you're in between those four lines and that ball is up in there. What's that like when it's actually go time?
It's time to eat. Like, you cannot wait. Like, those are the best games to get up for, because now you got motive. Now, like, I was waiting to get in the game and play against Deshaun Stevenson because he was taking cheap shots at LeBron. So we waiting to get our opportunity to go at those guys. So yeah, to me that's the best type of environment to be in, because it's that bunker mentality. It's your 15 guys and that versus that entire arena of fans. And whenever you make a shot, you just hear them all just. And that's the best feeling in the world. I just love those road threes.
When the air comes out of the arena, man.
And everybody got to go home early because the game's over. Like, that's the best feeling in the world.
I always say that is my best memory from Game 7 on 2016. Every time Steph would break one of those threes that always went in against us, and that 12-0 run never came. Yeah. Every time he clanked one off the ring, you could hear the...
more air.
and then it gets lower, and you start hearing like, "Let's go, Cavs, let's go, Cavs," and that annoying arena because it was so good because the fans were so loud,
Warriors.
And it was just like I had to turn the effects off on my ear because it was just so annoyingly loud. Yeah, but then it becomes like, this is good. It's sweet.
And that's where your legends are made. That's where you can make some big time memories in those rivalry games. So.
All right, guys, we have to step aside. One more commercial break. We will wrap up Booby's World right after this. Welcome on in to Booby's World right here on the Big Play Network. I'm Nick Padone. He is Daniel Booby Gibson. We got Rafa Hernandez Brito in here with us, guys, as well. And it's been fun. It has been a fun show having all three of us back at the desk. No more virtual Booby. I'd be looking at him up on the screen over there, on the screen over there. I'm like, what's he doing? In the flesh. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes, sir.
Booby, I'm heading out to LA for Rams versus Browns.
Get out the snow, man.
Get out the snow. Sun, I need some sleeper spots to hit while I'm out there. I'm gonna need some of the Booby recommendations.
You know what? I gotta give you, because I'll be doing that game, but not from the studio. I'm gonna give you the best taco place.
Oh,
but you have to hit it. Yeah. But you have to hit it like at 3 a.m. when all the Ferraris and limos are parked. It's like a small little hut. In right in the corner of where Freddie Roach has his gym, and Freddie Roach who used to train Manny Pacquiao.
Oh yeah,
they are the best real tacos that you'll ever have in LA. I'll give it to you too because you're always there. Yeah.
I need that.
For sure. Yeah, but you gotta have
some. Man, I got plenty of restaurants.
All right,
they run them down. I got.
All right, bet. Yeah, I'm going with some people that have family down there. So I feel like between that
mean?
and then
you're gonna be good.
We're between that and then you two guys, I think I'm gonna be good. Yeah.
My spot's open at 2 a.m. So.
That's what I'm about. That's what I'm about.
I got a couple of those.
Yeah. It's funny that my girls never had an In-N-Out. So, like, that's the one spot I'm like, it's good.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you. You're going to be disappointed. It's way overrated.
I've been out. I've had In-N-Out before. I've had it, but she's never had it. It is way overrated.
That line always so long?
Swenson's are In-N-Out, Booby. Swenson's are In-N-Out. Swenson's are In-N-Out.
I guess I'll go Swenson's.
Swenson's for sure.
I never had Swenson's.
Raf. We gotta change that. That's the point. They put like the galley boy. You get the.
I never had that.
Oh,
I didn't even know it was a burger place. I always see it as. That's the kind of place that they help you. They serve you with like roller skates. The waitresses. No?
I think they probably used to, but now they like run out. So you sit in your car and they just run out.
I gotta go to Swenson. I'll give you the review.
Yeah. Maybe
Wiener out is overrated.
We got to get Swenson's. Hey, call us, Big Play Network. Get involved in the show. We'll have Roth do a live Galley Boy review right here on air, and it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, Swenson's Burger. Get a shake. All right, that is it for Booby's World. You guys got me getting hungry. I'm Nick Padone, Booby Gibson, and Rafa. We'll see you next week.
Adios.